hope they know there is a bathroom back there. Start the meeting. Is there anything to add to the agenda before we get started?
Yes, I would like to add a vote for security.
All right.
I want to ask for passes for the MSU Fall Kickoff as prizes for this season.
And I have announcements about the noon shows, but I don't see any direct.
For our show.
Okay. All right. I'd like to recognize our guest in attendance. This is Miss Erica. She has been with us before, and apparently we didn't scare her off. So she's back again. Hopefully a prospective new board member. So we'll see what she says when she figures out just exactly how we run. Then she'll be scared if they run.
No.
Okay, Erica, I will ask if at all possible to try and involve yourself a little bit with one or more productions that we have going on, so you get a feel of where we have to work our productions and how we have to find things and buy things and so just to get a familiarity with that.
Of course.
Okay, has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes? Oh, I'm sorry, we do have one more guest, Kathy.
She's not a board member.
No, I'm not a board member.
But she's family, so who cares? You're here anyway. Just like
I'm a
Brittany.
volunteer.
Where's Brittany?
Yeah, she's around someplace.
I do have Chris's proxies.
Okay.
I have all these proxies.
Oh, there's that I was looking for.
And I do believe we have a quorum, so we're still good for voting. Okay, is it time to
A motion to accept the minutes of this month.
Is there any discussions before we push on? Okay, we got a motion. I don't hear any discussions. We got a second. That guy. Sorry, my brain is fried today. Okay, we will start with our treasury report bookkeeping. I think Kathy will bring some of that up.
Actually, Ken asked
Ken
me
asked
to
to bring it out.
Sorry.
There is some sheets up here for anybody who's interested in looking at it.
I already have.
Okay. Yes, from the finance committee. The finance committee did go over the in-depth of the month. Didn't see any discrepancies or anything of worry. It looks like that we did put out more money than we took in, obviously, because we put money down on rights and scripts for the shows that are coming in.
Nothing coming in.
Nothing coming in other than I actually there's a note in there for that donation in today's agenda. Maybe there's not. Oh yeah, you got it in for the under the grant. So I'll leave that for later. Does anybody have any questions?
Please bear in mind, any of the financial statements are public record. You can find them on our download site. And we request that you look at them previous before the meeting so that we don't have to go over them and spend hours on finances. So now during the season, we will bring up more stuff during the board meeting, but the committee will handle that online. Does anybody have any questions about treasury? Okay, moving on then. Organizational reports, grants, Kathy.
We received notification from Hess that they'd like us to come in and make a presentation for the recently submitted Hess grant, which happened rather quickly. They gave us a date in September and a date in October. The date in September is in here, the date in October is in not. At first Ken thought, well, we could drive over to Killdeer, but then he thought about it some more. I'm not sure who else he talked to, but he thought, no, let's just go to the Minot one on October 16th. And right now we were the first one on the list for October, so we can have the first slot at 10, but if that's not a good time, I can call Julie Vetter back and find a better one. I know Ken does not want to be the only one to present. And Randall thought, given this path association with Hess, probably wouldn't be appropriate for him to go. So I'm not sure if Ken talked to any of you, but I know he's interested in having a couple other people go with him to do the presentation.
I do believe I emailed Ken the October meeting.
For the October meeting, okay. And maybe that's why he decided to shift that. The issue was, if we go to the September meeting, aside from the time, et cetera, to get over to Killdeer, they will not have given away as much money. If we go to the October meeting, it's more convenient, but there's a likelihood that they'll have less left. Of course, they're not going to tell us either way, so it's a gamble, but it's whatever will work.
It's okay that I'm there. I think it's better if I didn't, but it would be nice to see a lot more participation from the board to be there with Ken and Ed, because the more people that are standing in front of them, I know from experience that they take that
When
as,
is
wow,
that
this
date?
group is really interested.
The 16th is a Wednesday. What time?
10 o'clock right now.
I don't know what I'm gonna be doing at that time, so I don't wanna commit.
I plan on.
How about you, John? Are
Requesting
you
day off.
available that day or interested or now?
I think we have the dates set pretty much for October. As we get closer, if your schedules clear up, please let us know. We obviously will have another meeting in September, and then we will have another meeting before that date of the 16th of October. So we still have two months to get people to show. It would just be a better showing if we had more people.
October 16th.
It's a Wednesday.
The presentation will last about 5 minutes, 5 minutes. And it's literally, you can put a presentation together, you can do puppet show, whatever the heck you want. Ken and I have been working a little bit offline about putting an actual PowerPoint together at some point. And just so you know what this is for.
This is for the new lighting system.
So we're trying to get a grant for about 15 grand on a new digital lighting system to replace the current 40-year-old system that's on the ceiling now. That includes new controller up on the board of the sound booth, possibly new lights for sure.
With the current lighting, you have to set everything before the performance, and you're limited to highlighting sections of the stage based on what you can physically do. With the new lighting system, you'll switch back and forth. You don't have everything, and it just gives you a lot more options. It gives you a lot more power to do different things.
So you do still have to preset, because you can't just turn on the light and expect the shadows to disappear.
Right.
Well,
the lighting is
You
changing.
have to place lights.
One of the good things is the system that Kim looked over, and I kind of looked, and I think he is going to put it to Jacobson Music as well. We'll use our current grid in the ceiling, because it's literally just 110 lights. With LED, they use a lot less power, a lot less heat. So we're able to add basically 5 times more lighting in the ceiling than we currently use with our current system. That's without changing anything in the ceiling. So it could be 10 or 15 grand in electrical charges and changes. And it will work all wireless, so that there's no wires to be run either. Yes, Lynn?
I do have questions about the lights themselves, but I don't need to bring them up here during the meeting and extend the meeting. But my biggest question right up front is, the people that have been talked to, do they realize that intimate size theater, not a DJ show, not a place that concerts are being done, but an intimate size
That's all been
theater.
taken into consideration.
Okay.
And Kim is the one that's put a lot of the hard work into this, so he knows this theater as intimately as anybody. So I mean, this is not something we went out and just said, okay, give a quote to somebody. This has been thought through quite heavily. Okay, anything else, Miss Kathy, on that side? So again, we will, more volunteers as we get closer, please, if anybody can. The Network for Good, did you want to talk about that?
I'll bring it up. Ken had brought this up during the finance meeting, and we received through Jerry's office a check for $50 from an anonymous donor on behalf of, or by way of Network for Good. I haven't heard of them. Ken hasn't heard of them. Kathy knew a little bit about it, but the check's been posited and it appears to have gone through. So the money's good.
If you do a donation through Facebook, they're routing, they can route it through PayPal too, but they also route through Network for Good. And after the finance meeting, Ken went back and looked at the date of when that actually came in. And he was thinking it was right around the time of Tom Willis's death. That someone might have made the donation because of to welfare players within the town.
Jerry's office, Jerry Jorgensen's
Yeah,
office?
yeah, it goes, the money goes right to Jerry's office. Get it to us eventually. That's how that works.
But if whoever's out there listening, we thank you, really appreciate it. We'll never know for sure.
Okay, social media, Brittany.
Before we go on, just a very short thing. It's not really a grant, but since we had this $50, Mass River players received $50 from MACA for our participation in Arts in the Park, which was Brittany and various other members, volunteers, being there to do a makeup display, and for my son and Ed and Tim to do a demonstration of the fighting technique, which we did at Magic Con.
Okay, thank you, Lynn. Brittany.
She let me know that there's nothing to report on social media.
Gotcha. All right, finance. All right, finance.
Committee did meet on Wednesday, the 8th. We went over in depth of the financial report that we all saw. Nothing else to report on that side.
Okay, thank you. So box office, I talked to Ken, there wasn't really nothing there yet. Past and upcoming shows, the Jim Hillman use of the theater on August 1st was,
Heilman.
what's that?
It's Heilman.
Okay, Heilman, sorry. I owe Ken a huge dinner because I had to bail on that show. So he took over as the liaison for the theater. I had an emergency come up, so I think he said everything went okay, but that's all I know.
That girl got left over.
We're gonna talk about that. And then he also said he wanted to report about the show coming up somewhere in Francis and Lily.
That girl got left over.
We're gonna talk about that. And then he also said he wanted to report about the show coming up somewhere in Francis and Lily. It's minimal. Noon shows are scheduled. Plenty of people are interested in covering the noon shows, and work calls are Saturday. They're looking for any help we can get. And ticket sales are open as of September 1st. Season passes trickling in. Any questions? Okay, house, land, season passes trickling in. Any questions? Okay, house, land, Nancy?
I cannot not toured the wood room before because it looks nothing like the wood room used to look. So thanks to Tim for getting that up, but other volunteers and family members that helped get that in shape. Yeah, is the dumpster still here
It'll be picked up tomorrow.
It was still here last night.
tomorrow? Okay. I had other things I think maybe have gotten taken out.
Some things
Yep.
have.
I made sure to come in and
Okay.
take care of some of that stuff. Normally it was
Okay,
marked
good.
by Thomas.
Yeah, they're not, I mean, it's scheduled to be picked up last week, but I told them to hold off one more until we talk tonight.
Okay, good. The Magic Day of Giving is coming up September 13th. It is an opportunity. We've taken part in that in the past successfully, that people come in here for a variety of things. Is there anyone that would like to spearhead? You put the application in and you get a bunch of volunteers here to do something that you would like them to do. It helps to be very organized on that day when they come in, otherwise it's chaos, but
What day is it?
it's
Wednesday,
Friday,
Friday.
September 13th.
I would, having been through many
Right.
of these,
Right.
and I can't do it this year for obvious reasons.
Mhm.
I would make a suggestion that a project be selected that would be something that doesn't require a lot of small items. One of the things I had often thought would be to have a repaint of our main walls in here, because we've had dings and damages and repaints and stuff like that. But if we had a sufficient number of people who could come in and just repaint the basic walls in the two colors that we have, or as close to as we could, that would probably be a large enough project to accomplish a number of people, but it would be limited enough that it wouldn't kill the person who's trying to organize.
That's also opening night. That's our first show.
Yeah.
13th?
So, yep, September
So
13th.
that might not be a good
Painting would
idea.
not be a good idea.
No, it wouldn't.
Is that,
This would mix made up with this.
maybe if anybody wanted to take that on, it could be cleaning. I mean, it could be a couple hours in the morning if you wanted to have clean windows, dust, I don't know. Anyway, I can't do it. Is there
Or
anyone that's
having them come
interested?
in and cleaning the bathrooms and the floors, I mean, that would be an opportunity.
Yeah, I guess Ken would
Nancy,
want to take that on.
Could you put together a list of things you'd like to see cleaned and maybe send it on email and see if anyone would be willing to grab it up?
The thing is, this application has to be presented to the Magic Day of Giving people. I don't remember when the deadline for that was, real soon, and then they will send people out if we make a request. So really what I need is somebody to say they would be in charge or not.
really
I know
can't wait.
I would do it, but I know I'm not available that day.
Yeah.
For the
Anybody?
September 13th, that's a Friday,
Yep.
that is our show. The theater needs to be cleaned the day before already, because
Okay.
that's a little too late.
Okay.
So I think we need to snap for this
Okay,
year.
we'll scratch it again this year.
Sorry.
Tossing items, that's happening, thank you. Ken, I suppose, will speak to us at some point on the entry alarm, or does someone have information on that? Is that coming up later?
Yeah.
Coming up later, okay. Does anybody know anything about something called nanotape or super tape? I mean, I keep seeing these Facebook commercials where you put tape and it'll stick on brick. And I think of how we want to hang up our pictures and it says it will hold on brick. Anybody know anything about nanotape or does it work?
I have used it, but it doesn't last forever. So like if you put, like it'll hold these pictures up, but within about 2 or 3 months, it will start to slowly fall off.
I'm thinking more about downstairs hallway to get
Oh, God,
those.
no, I wouldn't do it for that, because again, once it gets bad, you start to, you go to take something off
Okay.
and you're not gonna be able
Okay,
to put it
all right,
back.
we'll scratch that. I may borrow some white tables on the 25th. If white tables are missing, I may need them for a friend's event, if that's okay. No objection. The back door was propped open on Saturday, August 3rd. I came in at 11. It was propped open with a small cigarette lighter, one of those skinny little green cigarette lighter things. It was propped open. I just took the cigarette lighter out and I closed the door and I continued doing what I was going to do. 2 people have since told me that I should not have done that I should have immediately called the police when I saw that door had been propped open. I did not do that. But anyway, that happened. It was on August 3rd at 11. I also noticed at that time, we're missing the hand vacuum. It's a plug-in, it's electric, but it's always been in the electrical room with the brooms and whatever else is in that electrical room. It's just not there unless it's appeared again tonight. Were those curtains ever found?
No.
Okay. And again, I came in on yesterday, Sunday, I came in about 1 o'clock. The back door again was open. It had not been propped open with anything, but the door was obviously open, so somebody could have easily opened it from the outside.
Was the
So it
bar,
was
was the
open or
bar,
just
locked, or was the bar unlocked?
The bar was unlocked, but the door was open about that bar.
Right, well, that would mean that somebody probably from the show unlocked it, and then they didn't relock it.
If that was 1 o'clock, we weren't here till 4.
But was it-
I closed it at 1
From the
o'clock.
night, Saturday was, what day was this? This was
Sunday at
last
1
night?
o'clock I came in, yesterday at 1
It
o'clock.
would have been
Or,
left open.
yeah, yesterday at 1.
Is we need to make it very clear to the director, because he's in charge of this theater when it's a show. He has to check all doors. So, and I'm not trying to put anything more on Ken, he's in charge of this building while it's his show.
And that is
That's
something that
checked.
has always been a point, that it is the director that is like
So-
going down with the ship.
I
Last
will-
in, first in, last out.
I will go and beat on Ken after this meeting.
Okay, anyway, it's happening and I don't want to come in here and find, something unfortunate. We need scotch tape refills. Find something, we need scotch tape refills for scotch tape dispensers. The noon show dates are on the fridge. I did put them in the fridge. I think they've come in email as well.
I've also got handouts for them.
There's a paper up front on
Yeah,
our
that's-
table
I gave
for
it to
us,
Ken.
yeah.
And I am, this isn't exactly house, but it kind of is house. Sandy Karnak died, and Sandy Karnak was Mouse River Players. She just was. So something should be done in her honor. If we send flowers to the funeral service, I don't know, but Mouse River Players would be remiss if we did not acknowledge Sandy's death in some way.
We'll do
Isn't it
when
Wednesday?
the funeral is.
Funeral is at
Wednesday.
10
I think it's
o'clock.
Wednesday.
Funeral is Wednesday at 10.
Yeah.
So in the very, you just said they did send flowers, I
I
can.
think we should at
Yes,
least.
most
send-
definitely.
So how much do we want to spend?
I'm willing to spend $100.
Yeah.
I will second that.
So I will call the flower shop tomorrow, just some random one, which one. And I'll have it sent. Do we know where she's at?
Thomas,
Thomas?
funeral home, but Thomas Family Funeral Home is where she is now, and then the service is at
Little
Flower.
Flower.
They would move.
They would move.
Yeah, I'll just send it to Thomas.
Mouse
So
River Players.
it's Wednesday?
Yeah,
Is it?
10 o'clock.
They should be there tomorrow night. Flowers should be there tomorrow night.
5.
So I will take care of $100 flower arrangement for, and it's spelled SANDYKARNACK.
No, no Y,
ID.
S-A-N-D, I-E or Sandra.
Yeah, or
Sandra is what they have in the paper.
I told him why, so it's my fault. Yeah.
I'll take care of that.
And just be sure it says Mouse River. Wherever grateful Mouse River Players or something like
It's not this stuff.
When I seen Adam's
Is that,
thing,
is that it?
and all he put was salmon.
Woodroom.
Why did I searching salmon? And then
No, I have the
They have-
report for the
Then
room.
Ken told me last night.
Okay, the wood room cleanup was the 12th through 14th and 17th and 18th of August. Tim took the lead. He put in, as a count, 31 hours of his own. Other people who helped were myself, Brittany, Ed, Ken, Heather, Randy, and Nancy. It would have been nice to have a slightly larger turnout, but thank you very much to those who came and helped. Estimated total man hours for doing it was about 85 man hours. So like 2 weeks worth of time.
So I have a question. Has that been put in Track-It forward?
And who?
Track-It
I,
forward?
most
Yes.
of them have, you
Because
know.
it's very important.
In the clean out, work consisted of moving all materials from the scene shop and work area and disposed of the material deemed unserviceable. Wood was sorted by size and length. Tools, set hardware, screws were sorted. All materials stored in the loft were removed, including light units. Some cleanup of the workbench area, stage right, was accomplished as well. We constructed the wood rack that was there was maintained and just reutilized. A new wood rack, a vertical wood rack, was constructed for large, long pieces. Existing shelf units were utilized. Bins were purchased to sort like items. The only thing I can say about that is some of the labels keep falling off. I am planning on coming in and relabeling so that they're more visible. And then the workbench was the wood room is sufficiently clear to be able to use it as a dressing room when necessary, but this should not be considered a regular situation. Future bin storage is available when certain equipment or hardware needs storage. Once we know we need it, we'll find it. Additional lumber and hardware is currently stored in other rooms downstairs or in the apartment area, but clearing, sorting, and storing of these can be done at a later date when manpower is available. Please remind your set director and technicians and anyone else who may be using the items from the workroom to return the items to the labeled storage as a regular part of daily cleanup. If we all make the effort, the workroom should stay accessible and easy to use. Purchases for storage came to $88.69 for bins and things like that. There had been discussion of giving him a stipend for doing this. If you think of it as $15 an hour for his 31 hours, it comes to $455. If that's acceptable or more, I don't know.
I originally had asked that we give him at least 500 months ago.
I do remember that.
I would second Ken's motion to.
And I say we vote on that immediately and we get that check written.
Okay.
Because that is a very big project that was taken on by you guys. So, is that it?
There's the copy of that, so you have that.
So
So
do
there
we
is the report.
So 500 is what we had talked about originally. Is there anybody wanted to add or discuss more or less or what? So we have a motion for 500 from Ed. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposing? Okay. Heather, do you know that Ken will get a check written?
Yes, sir.
I don't think we voted on the acceptance of the minutes earlier either. Oops.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we didn't vote.
Oops.
I
We didn't vote. We voted.
Okay, meetings are accepted. Okay. All right, thank you, Lynn and Nancy, on the house report. They only made, I think, $290 in concessions on beer and wine, but they're rounding it to 400 just as a donation. So I just haven't gone to pick up the check yet.
Now, the amount that they said that they had made, was that only for one show?
It was the whole thing, all the whole times they've been doing it.
So there's
Dollars
for the entire
Yep.
Season?
For the ones
for the
that
for
they
the
did.
for the one show, because they've been paying us by the show.
Well, that's what I was questioning. Was it for the one show or for the season?
Actually, you're right, it's for the one show.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know because that seems awful low for the season.
Yeah. Sorry, that's my bad.
Okay, thank you.
Because we've already gotten payments for other shows.
That's true. It's been a long day.
So they pretty much are.
Thing to discuss there.
We're going to do a little workshop on auditions for kids. 2 different workshops on one Saturday morning. I can't remember the Saturday. I think it's the first one in September or the second one. I can't remember. But yeah, Holly and I will take care of that. And anybody else would like to join us, we would be happy to have you. So it'll just be about auditions and how to audition to get ready for Holly's play coming up.
Could you email the dates once you figure it out?
Yeah, she just told me tonight, so kind of
Okay,
Yes, I will.
is that it on kids?
Yeah.
All right, newsletter, I think everybody saw the latest. I think Ken just sent it out a couple days ago.
Yeah, and Holly,
I did have one thing there about the State Fair Parade. I want to say that it was an absolute success. I don't know if anybody saw the video that they did on us when we went through the state fairgrounds, but we have a brand new spokesperson for MRP. She is a wonderful little
cute.
gal. I don't even know where she came from or who she belongs to.
it's Holly's granddaughter.
It's, yeah, I was gonna say it's
Oh, right, the
Paul's
one, that's the
granddaughter.
one that had the microphone. Basically, we had used her. Jocelyn, yeah. We gave her, is she 9?
Something like that.
Yes, yeah.
We gave her a microphone.
Gave her a mic
and she,
Yep.
Mouse River Players, season 49, get your tickets now. You know,
Yeah.
yell if you want beads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So thank you to Holly, to Penny, to Molly, and other kids, and like Joe, and the random kids that were there that I'm not including.
While we're on that, could we maybe start planning on maybe bring it up the next meeting, what we would like to do possibly as a float and make sure that we're getting in our.
So what I want to do is I want
Application early.
to set up a budget.
Yeah.
I want to set up a budget for next year because I think it's an excellent promotional item for MRP. This year our budget was, we didn't know. So I spent a total of around 500 total. And I can tell you right now that it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Out before we got halfway down Broadway.
To form a committee so that they can come up with ideas and then present it.
Okay, anything else? Holly? Heather? Sorry.
I'm not on top of my fundraising stuff, but this week I will be getting out to businesses and trying to plan, the 5 fundraisers for after each show. And so if any of those people on the list want to help out.
And then having a committee meeting at any point so that people can meet and.
I could do that, yeah. I could.
Season, if there's anything right there right now.
As of right now, there isn't. We probably will start kickstarting things mid-September.
I have one question to go back to the state fair. I can't remember doing with the homecoming parade for MSU. We haven't. I don't know if you're.
It wouldn't be a bad
interested in
idea at
doing
some
that.
point, because I know the very first thing that I ever saw about theater in Minot was a float for mats that was in the
Oh,
homecoming
yeah.
parade. And that was the first thing I ever saw about theater in Minot.
So what I'll do
So
is
it would
on
not be a bad idea to
Yeah.
consider
On the
And
parade, that when we
Just
set
doing
up,
a vehicle with
for
something.
now, this year.
when we set
Oh,
up
I'm
a
not
parade
sure.
committee, we can talk about both.
Both, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no movement on the tenant building at this moment, other than I am talking to the insurance agent about possibly looking at rewriting our insurance policies. Since they're no longer apartments, we can insure it as a commercial empty building. And I'm hoping that the rates will go down. So, still in process.
But if we put it as a commercial building, will that take away the fact of the status of it being nonprofit?
No, that's nothing. It's just how it's insured and what they pay us if something happens. Because technically we are commercial here already on our insurance piece. Membership, Lynn?
Nothing at this time. I'm still holed up with a wedding on the back burners and the front burners and the side burners and the oven and hanging off the walls. So once I get beyond that, I'm gonna start working on things again.
I need to bring materials. I can tell you I have some, but I don't know that at this point. Okay, new business. First thing I had was
Eiley.
her resignation from the board has been accepted, and I did write her an email stating that we're sorry to see her go. So obviously we do have a board opening. Do we know don't we have several board openings according to our bylaws?
Well, our old bylaws, which have not been updated, I believe we have up to 18 available spots.
We only have 13 now.
But we currently have, I think it's 13 at this point. But we are in a situation where we've never felt that there was a need.
Some more seats.
But I would,
Because the more people we have, the more energy we bring into the
That
organization.
may be true, but I also want to caution, if we've not had participation with.
Not saying random at all.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, because we have a very, didn't have a grasp about.
So Erica, do you please put your board app in?
because it is in our bylaws that board members are active. So
that's-
that volunteering with shows.
But we need to make that clear when we go out to recruit for these board members. It's not something we just say, Kathy, you're now a board member. I get that. But I still say as everybody sitting here on this board needs to be actively looking and seeing if there's anybody else that's available. One of the people that has requested is Emily. I'm assuming that's her full name, is Holly's daughter.
No,
It's Sherry's
Sherry's
daughter.
daughter.
Sherry.
M. Costick.
Sherry M.
yeah.
Caustic.
She wants to be on the board, and I told her that, please put your application in. She is of age, because I think that.
She just turned 8.
Lifeblood
And
right
was
now.
very active.
She's been in almost every show I've been here. So anyway, what I'm saying is everybody please actively think about that. Because we have board members that are dying off or leaving or whatever. And we need more. Lynn, complaint during recent auditions?
Yes. Unfortunately, the MRP email received a complaint from one of the people who came to the audition for the show. And she felt that the way that the auditions were performed was unprofessional and did not give sufficient opportunity to everybody across the board to audition. I wrote back to her to find out a little bit more detail, and her complaints centered around the fact that the audition was held with everybody sitting around in a circle. That was one of her complaints. That I replied to her was at director's discretion. That was something that, isn't really a complaint. But the fact that she was never given the opportunity to read for a couple of small roles. This is something that I'm hoping was an oversight, a one-time oversight. And, but we need to convey to our directors, all directors, that one of the things they really need to do during auditions is to say, is there anything that you did not read for that you would be interested in reading for? If nothing else, it gives the people who are auditioning the feeling that their time is valuable. They may never get a leading role. They may be perfect for the small role, who knows? But at least if they feel that their time is being recognized, it doesn't leave a bad feeling in people's mouths. And as I was taught when I first started working at Cognizant, if you do something good, if you're lucky, that person will tell 3 people. But if you do something that sets them off, that makes them upset, you can guarantee they're going to tell 11 people. And those people will tell 11 people. So we don't want to take any chance of having someone disgruntled because we had an oversight.
Okay, so the only question I have is, has this been brought up to Ken since he's the one currently auditioning?
He saw the emails.
Okay, What was his response?
I have not spoken directly to him. I was hoping to be able to, but he has rehearsals and it's kind of hard to work my way in. But it's kind of a general thing. We just have to remember to add that little bit of, is there something that you didn't have a chance to read for that you would like to read for? That way you know that every possible opportunity was open to that person who was auditioning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lynn. New business still here, Ken, and the security system. So I have a few comments about it, but not a lot as of yet. Basically, the security system in this building is around 5 years old, and it is out of contract, meaning that they will not repair things. We have talked to SRT. In order to get the security system back online as it currently is, we are going to bypass the motion sensor downstairs, simply because we have enough security up here to take care of it until we can get SRT to evaluate what we need to do next. At the moment, it looks like we're going to have to increase or update our contract with them, which is going to push us from the $39.99 a month to the $44.99 a month, which is what their current plans are. That will also give us a new control panel. I'm not saying that you may have to learn a new way to do it. I don't know what the thing looks like, but we can transfer our pins and everything else to the new system. We need to do the contract in order to keep the system going. They just let it slide because we're such a good customer, is what I got told today. Plus, they also give us our internet for free for the last 2 or 3 years, so it's
In return for
or
sponsorship.
for 10 years
Yeah.
for sponsorship.
Still on time.
So that's a work in progress. I don't have any other things to tell you at the moment. Outside of Ken and I are trying to look at possibly a camera system as well. About 5 ideas floating right now, so we'll come up with something in the next month. That's not something we need at the moment, but we feel is pretty necessary for instance, when the doors are left unlocked, who was there, who did it, type of thing. So, yes, no.
2 things. The second I'll tell you in a moment, but I would really appreciate people who are interested in the alarm system to get with Randall and Ken and meet and talk and come up with ideas, because I think all possibilities. I mean, I don't know if this Vivint or whatever that's around in town, not focus only on SRT for the future.
I think that's a very bad idea because of what they give us currently.
Well, I'm just saying, I want the discussion. I don't want to just focus on one thing. I will find out what else is out there.
Well, then we're gonna have to start dropping some of these other committees because we don't have enough people to keep building committee after committee.
But it doesn't have to be an ongoing committee. It could be a one-time, get the information presented and it's done.
I'll put an email out if anybody's interested.
What I can say, because I do have Vivint in my home, Vivint is about $20 more a month.
And we had Vivid in Great Falls and hated it, so.
And there's a difference between home and commercial, I believe.
Right.
In the home, we had a service contract. It was like $5 a month. And then it covered all service. So they would come out and replace batteries or come out and check things at no extra cost. But I don't know if that's possible.
So I don't have
Commercial.
enough detail within.
Right, as I say, I just want to make sure that we're not just jumping at the first thing, to put a motion what we have.
And I would like to second that motion because I was going to say the same thing.
I don't even know if that's the direction we're going. That's why I'm not putting this up for vote. Because there's nothing to vote on just at this moment. We may be able to use what we have without a contract. I don't even know that yet. I don't have enough information for us to talk about.
Just,
In the interim, do we do anything when we come and go?
At the moment, right now, you have to leave the alarm unset because of
Okay,
the
but,
motion.
yeah, just so we know not to touch it.
You can bypass the motion.
He told me how to
Within
do
the
that
alarm.
today,
That's real easy to do.
so I'm gonna do that so we can at least reset the alarm. So it'll tell us when the back doors are open. I
So
think
has
that's
it,
a lot
so
of
has it
problem.
always been just that downstairs motion thing that has been a problem?
Ken says that he remembers it doing this about a couple months ago. I have not heard of it until just this past month. It's gone off twice. And SRT has told me over the phone today that it's probably not a battery issue, it's probably distance. And what happens is all of those devices work on 2.4 gig frequency. And the more stuff you add,
You have those postcards, which have,
why I just,
but what, that was for sponsorship.
yeah. but
I'm
that's our
talking about,
season.
he's talking about season tickets.
Oh, for season.
They're two different things.
Well, do we do a mass mailing on
We
season?
haven't done one in a long time.
They're still newer.
No,
Or no, I'm thinking,
no,
sorry, I'm thinking
no.
I'm thinking of memberships.
Yeah.
Never mind.
We haven't done a season ticket. I think Nancy, you and Holly did the last one. God knows how long.
Because I'm doing.
If nothing, if we have, the biggest thing is having the addresses of people. If we have the addresses, the mailing addresses, we can get labels printed. We can use the postcards that we have to remind people that it's coming up. And we can print up more postcards if we need to, because we still have that template available to us. We just need to have the spreadsheet of the addresses. And if that's available,
Ticketing system, I don't see how that would be an issue.
well, I know the tickets come in and it's, because that was the problem I had with membership. He would say, I've got a person who who paid for a membership, and I'd say, great, give me an address so I can mail them the card. And he didn't have it because it came in on email.
You would have some.
Well, I
So,
know
but
that
if we have some, we can do at least.
myself prefer email. I don't like postage, so it's something that maybe we could do both. We'll send an email out, and we'll send the old people the postcards. I'm trying to put that as
And if
nicely as
people
possible.
can get me the addresses, I can print up the labels. If somebody can get me the addresses, I can print up the labels, we can get the postcards done and buy stamps and get them out.
Well, Ken is busy with this, but I can get into the ticketing system. I'll see what I can find tomorrow
Okay,
and try to print something out.
It's easy to just
Yeah.
label and paste. Easy.
Okay. The other new items that people had me or wanted me to add was the Great Tomato Festival is requesting season passes. Did we vote on this last month?
You know, I think if it's something that we have done in the past, the president or secretary, whoever gets the to be able to do it.
I think that if we do, there are certain things that come up on a regular basis,
Yeah.
and I agree with
That's
Nancy.
one. that
I
comes up
also
on a
think
regular
that if it
basis.
comes down to it, I think the executive board should be able to just say yes instead of having to bring it to the full board in a case like that.
But did we say yes on this? already?
Yes,
'Cause
we've
this-
done that many
We've done it
years.
before,
I think
last year.
I think last time we talked about the street festival, we talked about the Great Tomato Festival.
Yeah.
So
This
the
is true.
the GTF festival, do we just give them like 2 season passes or 4?
I think that's fair. And I
2 is usually what we go with, unless they specifically request more.
So do we need to vote on doing that or can we just
The
give it?
executive committee can handle it.
I think the executive committee can vote. We've got two people
Three
here
members.
right now, three members right here.
So you got my vote.
I also vote yes.
So,
Okay.
So we had at least 3 out of 4. So
and my position votes yes too. And if we need a template drawn up for them, I've got the templates and I can do that.
Okay. So I guess we're just gonna do 2 season passes then. I can send it or I can give you her email address.
They don't usually go email. They are a certificate
Well, I mean, it's,
because they put them out for auction.
well, I tell you what, if you print them, I can carry them to our office. I go there pretty much every other week. So
Okay.
I'm there every day.
Penny's there.
Okay.
I get her garbage every day.
Okay, I will try and get those done before the end of the week.
Because I think that's coming out.
I know it's coming up very soon. I will do my best to, if somebody wants to let her know, they'll be coming.
Okay, Heather, I know you had mentioned this last month. I don't even know if you
I'll
want to
just
bring
skip
it
it
up.
now.
Skip it? Okay.
Alright.
Maca, I did talk to Maca about the side of our building, about possibly putting this up for this art wall thing.
It already is on, was it on the,
The rest of the building.
oh, the rest of the building. Okay.
Yeah, because we had originally kind of talked about it last meeting, and I'm still, he just hasn't come to look at it. So we moved it there. In Virginia, I'm talking to her about the lattice work she wants to put up between our buildings. She's crazy getting the building ready, so haven't had that conversation. Am I missing any new business? Somebody have? Oh,
And I
yeah,
did
so
not.
up here. Vote for security gate.
Yes, we had discussed this before, we brought it up, I believe, at the previous, no, not the previous meeting, I think it was 3 meetings ago, but the finance committee hadn't met in a while. And I did go on and look at the prices about adding a security gate to the bottom of the downstairs, at the bottom of the stairs, to kind of section off, and hopefully prevent some thefts, possibly with doors being kept open, but also prevent some of the costumes and props that have gone missing. And maybe we can cut down on some of that. For a folding security gate, prices, the best one I found was through Uline, which is this company. I don't know, a lot of you who maybe work in the business world have seen these, or you get them every quarter. A folding security gate that would fit the current need we would have would be $225. So even plus tax would be less than $250. Amazon had one that would fit for $305, and Home Depot has one for $496, but it's too short.
Can't picture where this is and what you're talking
Right at
about.
the
So
bottom
I-
of the stairs.
Before that doorway, we could add a
Archway
security
is.
gate, which would
I
lock.
totally don't know what doorway you're talking about.
Okay, Nancy,
steps.
bottom of the stairs, to the
Are we
right.
out in the back?
Back here,
Out
out
here in the
here.
front. In the
The
front.
stairs in the front.
Oh, we're inside the building.
Inside
Yes.
the building.
Oh, sorry, I was outside. I was outside. Sorry.
Bottom of the stairs.
Very
Now
visual.
she knows.
Very visual.
To the left is the kitchen, to the right is the,
I'm there.
Yeah.
okay,
I'm
that
there.
archway, putting a folding gate secured into that archway that opens up when we need it, but.
And it would
can
just
lock
tuck away right by the
to the one
doorway.
side.
And obviously we'd be looking at options of either just putting doors on the other doorways and locking those, or I know some sort of other security.
So does this go down there too?
This
It
one
does.
goes, that goes
It
into.
does.
But you have to go through the kitchen, and we could just lock the door on the kitchen. Because it would come out just before that doorway.
Ken did share a thought with me. He said he's not opposed to this at all, but he said if we do it, people have to be willing to padlock the thing then.
Mhm.
And take the extra time to make sure it's closed, otherwise it defeats the purpose.
Yes.
And that's-
It's not
What's
just
the
a
access?
commitment. It's
I
not
go down
just,
there all
More than one key, but they would be kept in the key box in the office, and so the only people who can get downstairs are people who have office keys.
I don't.
So, I mean, obviously, an executive member could come in 6 feet to the rest of the building.
Now that I know where I am, it would be the director's responsibility again for strike and whatever that, and when they're down gathering props and whatever, that it is not left open.
And the only reason this is being brought up is because
See those on
it's for the money, it's a vote for people willing to commit to doing it.
Right, because it will cause inconvenience. There's no
People will leave
question
it
about that.
But we also have the inconvenience of props and costumes going missing, and some of those are irreplaceable.
So do we have a motion for the whatever
Folding security gates.
gate Ed thinks is the right gate?
I'm nervous about it, but I motion that we do it, we invest in it.
I second.
Okay, I mean, I think we've had enough discussion, or does anybody have any more questions? I mean, I don't like the idea either, but I don't know what
Question
else to
on
do.
maybe just on the installation of, is it an easy installation?
Yep, it just gets bolted to the wall and there's a latch that gets bolted onto the other one. And I would be willing to install that free of charge. So,
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, Ed, they'll buy you a gate.
all right, I will place the order.
So are you going to do the lock at the same time on the kitchen door, do you think, or what? Or just later on?
We're gonna discuss that and see. You know, we want to make sure that it's a door that's not gonna be easily accessed.
Because we may be able to just lock or block off the far door, and then it goes into the propish kind of area. And that would leave the paint sink accessible east room, and then the kitchen area that they would be able to get to. So they wouldn't be able to get to our costumes or our props.
So you can, where the gate is, can you get to the paint room without having to open up the gate?
Yes.
Yes.
And the sink.
Okay. I'm
And the
just thinking for set construction.
Well, the paint room
Yeah.
hopefully will be moving, but the sink and that
The
equipment
sink needs to
would be accessible without going through the gate.
Randall, is that the sink that you were looking for a hose for?
Yeah. He's ready. I was gonna
Yeah,
ask.
I just
But yeah, that would be really.
picturing.
And we want. Because it needs to go. Because we have a lot. And on the curtain idea, I completely forgot. I was supposed to reach out to the Misfits. I think they might have taken those curtains.
There's
They
the only
brought-
possibility.
They brought, because they were all sitting on the table. So I'll reach out to them.
Thank you.
Penny passes.
Yeah, basically I'm wanting like the same thing we did for the tomato festival, because we have what's called the MSU Fall Kickoff on the 21st of this month.
This
And it-
month?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. She doesn't need them till like the day before or whatever. It's not a, but they're gonna be like this type thing is all I'm looking. Either 2 or 4, whatever you can give us.
Are we talking tickets or pass?
Pass, I think in the past
Seasons?
Yeah.
I would go with 2, because I know that
That's
MSU
because
is
she's
going to
got
ask
a
for their.
list of all these
Yeah.
prizes she's getting.
But I know that
So-
MSU is also going to be wanting it when they do their big auction too, so,
Oh, yeah,
you
the,
know,
KMSU,
yeah.
yeah, this is, staff senate, and I'm on the staff senate, and so they and since I'm on the board, she asked me if we could have the same thing
So
that you did
Penny,
for,
you're asking for 2.
yeah, just like what we just did for the tomato festival,
So
exact same thing.
does anybody have any qualms about that? I say the more butts we fill, the seats.
And the more we do this is equivalent to an advertising thing, so.
Because
you know,
we've
and
seen
that-
it before where they're gonna come because they have free tickets, but they're gonna bring their friends and that's gonna be tickets sold.
So,
So if it's up to the executive committee, I'm willing to.
3.5.
So
Thank you.
go ahead. I guess.
I'll do the
make
same.
it 2 more.
You can just send them to me.
Shall do that. I'll get all 4 of them to you.
Okay, and then Lynn, you want to talk about news shows? Is there something?
Just quick that they are set up and for tapings, and I will leave Brittany, once again, has been nice to do these up for people. And I will leave 1 batch in the
He's
that.
already got people for ours.
Well, Lily has already got theirs.
Yep.
And Nancy has been posted on the refrigerator, you said? So that,
October 12th?
Yeah.
Didn't have a show going on?
I thought.
We said we could do it, in the minutes, it says the first or the second weekend we talked about would be fine. That's all we said, and I think they were gonna,
Which would be the
we were
second.
gonna
That
go
would be
and
the
see
second weekend.
what they preferred.
Yeah, they asked me about the second weekend, which is the 12th. So,
Well, if we approved it for the first or second weekend, it shouldn't be up to vote, it should be
So it's
Yeah.
good. Okay. Anybody else have anything before this monster agenda is done?
Just, on the gala, I'll try again to get a committee meeting going after West Fest.
Thank you. I was gonna think, no.
And I would-
Before the
the only-
September 14th.
The only thing I would have added to that is the season committee that's working on the 50th. This needs to be the blowout season of blowout seasons. So-
I know Courtney and Brittany had last year offered to spearhead that committee for the 50th. I'm not sure where the status is at this point, but I will get with the two of them and confirm if they still wish to do that. They have some ideas that will center around our past shows, as well as ideas for new shows. And hopefully it will run concurrently, helping out with the
They're
gala
on the
as
gala
well.
committee too.
Okay, if nobody else has anything, next meeting will be September 9th. This meeting is adjourned.
Congratulations on your job.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Brittany.
Thank you.